the impossible dream, a bulldog, an old knuckleballer, and trip to the ER room. We didn't get hurt, did we? All on today's episode of Baseball King Collectibles. Hi, everybody. I am the Baseball King. Welcome back. As you know, you new subs out there, I am an in-person autograph collector for many years. I've collected autographs in person, freebies all along, celebrities. I never paid for a celebrity autograph in my life. Baseball players I've gone to shows, of course, but it's still in person, so I would never buy it. And I haven't bought any autographs through the mail, things like that. So I'm an in-person autograph collector of both celebrities and baseball and football and, basketball and hockey and all that too. But basically in person. That's the main thing of this channel. And I hope you guys are aware of that. And I can't find anybody else on eBay who does this. So we're still looking. We're still searching. You find somebody out there who does it, send them my way. I'm curious. I'm really curious. I'd love to find them and talk to them. Anyway, let's get to today's show. Oh boy, we start off with the impossible dream of 1967. And that, of course, is going to involve the leader. None other than Dick Williams. We have a 60 card signed of him and a 68 card signed of Dick Williams. This is right after the year they won. In 67, they won the pennant. And in 1960 card when he was still a player. Both of those. Now, Dick Williams, had it was a journeyman. He played in 1951. He came up with the Brooklyn Dodgers. So this guy's debuts in the lineup with Jackie Robinson and Roy Campanella and all those guys. Hodges, Snyder, Ferrillo, Newcomb. He's on that team. And he stayed there for a couple of years, and he bounced around. He stayed for played about 1974. The Red Sox released him, and they offered him a job in the minors as a coach, and he took it. He was 34, I believe, something like that. He was, at that age, that was pretty much the age most players were out of the game at that point. Before 35, it was very rare players to play over the age of 35, unless you were one of the all-time greats. But, he was just a journeyman, like I said, and he had a nice career, but, he went into managing. And what did he do? He took over 1967, his first year with the Red Sox, boy, and it was a hit. Carl Yastrzemski goes on to win the Triple Crown. I mean, that's just, Frank Robinson did it the year before. So winning a Triple Crown was like, wow, this don't happen often. It happened back-to-back years. And, of course, Yaz led the Red Sox to their impossible dream World Series. And, of course, Dick Williams was at the helm. And it was a great story, but it just came up a game short and a Bob Gibson World Series spectacular MVP performance. So that's what they were up against, Gibson and the Cardinals. And unfortunately, Cardinals got the best of them, but Dick Williams still made a name for himself. Now, he hung on. Now, he managed the Red Sox for a few more years after that. He didn't just leave the Red Sox. But then Charles O. Finley, the Oakland A's, he was the owner back then. He was flamboyant and controversial and outspoken before Steinbrenner. He was, more controversial than before Steinbrenner. Kind of like a Bill Veeck kind of guy, if you know who Bill Veeck is. Look him up. He went on to Oakland, 1971. He took over a team that was a really good team. He had Joe Rudy and Vita Blues coming up, and Jim Hunter was already established, Catfish, and I can go on. The whole team was a great team. So that year, he took him over. 71, led him to 100 wins, and got blown out in the playoffs by the Orioles, who were the defending champion. The Orioles were a good team back then. Boog Powell and Frank Robinson and all that. They were rough to beat. So A's were just up and coming. They had their chance. They got knocked out. Come back to 72, they win it all. Come back to 71, they win it all. And, 70, my years ago. Wait, let me just think a little better here. 71 and 72, they win it all. Oh, boy. I'm a little off on the years, but you know what I mean. You the guys know what I'm saying. Anyway, he left the team after this second World Series championship because the owner was just, Charles O. Finley was just unbearable to work for, just as bad as Steinbrenner. And the funny part of it is, he quits, and who hires him the next day? George Steinbrenner hires him, believe it. So he goes from one crazy on to another, but the commissioner stepped in, wouldn't allow it. It wouldn't allow Dick Williams to leave his contract with Oakland and jump to the Yankees for whatever reasons back then. You guys can look it up. I'm not sure exactly what, but it was voided, the contract. He wound up going to the Angels that next year, 74. He stayed there for a couple of years. He went to the Expos. He had a good run with the Expos, never won. Then he went to the Padres. He took them to the 84 World Series. So he made it to 4 World Series, with the Red Sox, 2 at Oakland where he won, and then again with the Padres where he lost. But overall, Dick Williams had a pretty good run. 21 seasons as a manager, 1,571 wins, which will get you into the Hall of Fame. And he was elected in 2008 to the Hall of Fame. And rest in peace, Mr. Dick Williams. You're a great manager. Thank you. Next guest. Oh, he's an old timer. This guy pitched for how many years? I wrote it down somewhere. Let me look at my notes because I did have to write him down because there's a lot of stuff on him. It's none other than Charlie Hough. 1993 Gold Cup signed. So I like the Gold Cup cards. They're always a little different, a little better anyway. So you try to get like I said, signature on what you're getting it signed on is important. It's not always there's no value anyway, but I just like it better. Anyway, Hough was for 25 years. Till age 46, he hung around. And he was an all-star, one-time all-star. But he was a compiler. 240 wins and... Jeez, ERA under 4. What does that get you now? That gets you a lot of money and a Hall of Fame ticket. All right? But back then, it wasn't enough. Even though he had a good career, he was a knuckleball. Of course, that's what gave him that career. The knuckleball extended his career, and you could throw that knuckleball to age 46, where he was still effective. He still had decent years at age 45. He still had over 200 innings. At age 45, he still threw over 200 innings, and now these baby pitches, 150. Whoa, shut him down, lock him up, put him away, put the arm in ice and put him away for the winter. He did 150 innings. So it's a crazy world we live in. It's just, it is. But of course the knuckleball, he could just throw and throw and throw and throw Charlie Hough. And he did. He lasted a long time. But how did I get this autograph? It's an interesting story. I went to Pittsburgh to a game. I like going to different stadiums over the years. I went to Pittsburgh and I'm on my way back to the airport. There's a tram that takes you from the airport to the terminal. So I'm at the airport, and I get on that tram, okay? And who's on the tram? I look, I go, hey, Charlie, what's happening? It's Charlie Hough. So I just ran real fast. I had the cards with me because I knew they were playing Montreal. I always cooked. So I went to the game, tried to get autographs before the game. I did okay, but I went just for the park itself. And that's how I got snag this Charlie Hough on the tram from the Pittsburgh terminal to the airport. We weren't on the same flight, but I don't know where he was going. It was a Sunday game, I guess. Maybe he was going out of town. Wherever he was going on his own. So he wasn't with the team. And I guess at that age, they allowed him to do his own thing. So thank you, Charlie Hough. Great career. He is now 76 years old. Wow. He looked like he was 76 on some of these baseball cards of his when he was pitching years ago. So, he was a good guy, though. Anyway, our next guest is our Beckett magazine of the day, of course. We have to have a Beckett magazine. Let me just take it out right here. Have it in its protective sleeve. Oh, no, it's not Mark McGuire, who I did feature on an earlier episode, and we got him on a Beckett magazine. It's the bulldog, Orel Hershiser himself. Wow, he burst on the scene, didn't he? 1985, 1903, something crazy. Great numbers. 86, he had a good year. 87, but 88, burst on the scene. Really blew out the whole league. He was MVP. He was Cy Young. He broke Don Drysdale's consecutive scoreless inning streaks. He broke 59 consecutive innings. Now, come on, guys. 59 innings. Think about that. That's 6 shutouts in a row, 54 innings, plus another 5 innings. That's crazy. Nobody does that. First of all, you can't go shutouts anyway. But, even if you did 7 innings, 6 innings, to go to 59 is not happening. I didn't think the Drysdale record would ever be broken. So it's possible. Maybe a relief pitcher might do this. That's the only way. Starting pitcher's not going to do this. I can't see it happening. But Hershiser had a long career, 18 years. Oh, LA for most of his career. Then he bounced on to Cleveland, where he did a World Series with the Indians also. He won a game in the 95 series for them. Oh, he wound up with the Mets and the Giants, his rival. But with the Mets, he had a good year. The year before he retired, he's 13-12 and a decent year for the Mets. And he was a leader on the team. He really had a good year for that year for the Mets. He was only a 3-time All-Star, a long career. He had some couple of like this old greats, 86, 87, 88, 89. And then injuries. He had a couple bad where he didn't even pitch, a couple games he only appeared in injured. So injuries, that's the thing, guys. Especially you buy all these rookie cards now, especially pitchers. They get injured, their careers quick. Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor, I can name you a dime a dozen. Over and over. But, he won the Cy Young in 88. He won the MVP in 88. He won the World Series MVP in 88. He won the NLCS MVP in 88. Oh, man, he had a really good career. You can't go wrong with Orel Hershiser as your starter in those years. Lasorda loved him. I'm sure everybody else, Dodger fans, loved him, and he was one of a kind at the time. Now, Hershiser, I don't know what he's doing now. I'm not sure if he's doing anything, broadcasting or anything, but haven't seen much of him lately. Let's get on to our celebrity guest. That's what you guys have been waiting for all this time, right? You've been waiting for the celebrity guest? Well, I won't let you wait any longer. All right, this guy started out. He was a comic, believe it or not. He started out as a comedian, not comedy shows basically. Facts of Life. He had a regular role in Facts of Life. He was on Roseanne. He was on The Golden Girls. Oh, where else was he on? A bunch of other like that. But then he got his break in 1994. I'm not sure, but 5 years he lasted on this show. It's George Clooney, and George Clooney, of course, was on ER. He was Dr. Doug Ross. 5 years, 2 Emmys later, and he left the show. All right, he won 2 Emmys out of 5 years. That's pretty good, guys, right? So here's a good close-up of his autograph. It gives you, better than anybody gives you today, okay? It was not the greatest back then. I said, what the hell is that? But you see, pretty much, he's very consistent like that. And it's a nice one. And I've got him several times, several different photos with him over the years. I saw him. Always nice, always great with autograph collectors. You can't go wrong. I got him at JFK once. One time, I think, outside of David Letterman's show. I don't remember. Could have been NBC Studios, somewhere. But I got him a few times. Oh, he did, like I said, besides ER, then he went on to movies. The career, his career just took off from there. The women loved him. And so, that gave him a little boost, of course. But he made multiple movies. He's won 2 Emmy winners. He won an Emmy Award as a Best Supporting Actor. 2000 I think I wrote it down here. 2005, yes. And 2012, he was co-producer of Argo, which won Academy Award. So he's at 2 Academy Awards, 2 Emmys, long career. Got any woman he wants, and you got a beautiful wife. What more could you want? Guy had a great life. The life of celebrities living, all right? So that's really what it comes down to. So let's look at him one more time. Our buddy and pal. At the time, he was a buddy and pal. Yeah, he was nice. Really nice guy. I root for him. I watch his movies only because he's nice. He was not, when somebody's nice to you, I'm telling you, you have an attitude. When somebody's not nice to you, I ain't watching their movies no more. It's true. You really get that attitude. Unfortunately for guys, that's it for today's show. All right. We hope you enjoyed it. Glad you came back.